Good morning. Thank you for joining PTT session today. Today we have a Vice President of PTT Investor Relations, Khun Panporn Sasananan, to present the performance and also the updates on the PTT performance. And we would like to update you on the performance on the year 2018 compared to year 2017. So let's start with Khun Panporn.
Thank you. We would like to start with the activity from the highlights, the activity highlights in 2018. So we start with the first page on page number 2. We start with PTT first. In 2018, PTT bought more shares in the RPC from the government saving banks, and they increased the stake holding from about 38% to 48%. So RPC become the PTT flagship in specialty petrochemical. And PTT did the par split from the par value of 10 to 1 baht per share. And by mid of last year, PTT transferred its oil business to its subsidiaries. We call this PTT OR. And in the operational part, PTT has the planned turnaround of its gas separation plant number 2 and number 3 by that half a month. Next will be in the PTT EP, our flagship in the upstream business. PTT EP won the bidding in the 2 fields in Mexico and in Malaysia. And by mid of last year, PTT acquired about 22% stake in the Bongkot field, which is in the Gulf of Thailand. And by the end of last year, PTT won the bidding in the gas field in the Gulf of Thailand, which called the Bongkot and Erawan. So after the acquisition, PTT gonna hold in this field in the Bongkot about 100%, and in the Erawan is 60%. Next is the GPSC, which is our flagship in the power business. The GPSC is in the process to do the tender offer on the Glow Energy with the condition this to carve out one of the small power plant. And last year, the GPSC, they have the approval from the board that they're going to buy the power plant from the PTT affiliates, which is the Thai Oil, which is our refinery flagship. So we move to the petrochemical business. We start with the Thai Oil, which is our refinery flagship. Thai Oil got the approval from the board to invest in the clean fuel project, which is to increase the capacity from about 275,000 barrels per day to about 400,000 barrels per day. And the capex is around like $4.8 billion US dollars, and it will be COD by 2023. Next is the PTTGC, which is our flagship in petrochemical. The board have approved the new olefin plants project with capacity of around 500,000 tons per annum of ethylene, as about 250,000 tons of the propylene, with the capex of around 985 million US dollars. And last year, PTTGC start its new LLDPE with the capacity of around 400,000 tons per annum in March last year. And they also acquire the PET and the PTA plant to add their value, the value on the PX and MEG products. That's all for the activity for PTT Group last year.
Okay, so next part will be the performance of PTT during year 2018 and compare with the year 2019. So let's start with the key business driver, which is the business driver of PTT Group. Let's start with the Dubai crude and the fuel oil price. You see that the Dubai crude has been in the upward trend for year 2018 until in the fourth quarter that the oil price has been sharp drop. In the first quarter that has been averaged in December around $57 per barrel, and at the end of December it's closed at $53 per barrel. So this would make some refining business have some stock loss. And also for fuel oil, which is moved in the same trend with the Dubai crude. Let's see the spread. The spread in the first 9 months has been around minus $6 per barrel to $1 per barrel. This one has been improved for the spread of fuel oil in the first quarter, has been in average around $1.4 per barrel minus. And this is because there's more demand in the winter season, which is a seasonal demand that in the Europe area there's a longer time for like the winter season this year for year 2018. And on the right hand side, you will see that this shows you the natural gas price, which is our cost key driver as well. In the orange line, that's the average pool price of PTT gas, which is combined of the import LNG, domestic gas, which is from Gulf and onshore, and also from Myanmar, which is we import from Myanmar as well. So this is the blended cost. And it has been in the upward trend all the way following the Dubai price. The average pool price, like from domestic part, this is have a lag time for around 6 to 12 months with the fuel oil price. So this is represent the gradual increase in the price of the gas price of PTT. So you will see that comparing year-on-year, average pool price has been increased for around 16%. And we also show you the LNG price, which is represented by the JKM. This is the LNG spot. And the JLC, Japan Crude Cocktail, this one represents for the LNG contract price in Japan. So let's see for the LNG spot. You will see that the price pretty much volatile, and it has been moving up in the second half. That you will see that the peak of the LNG spot has been in around October, which is around $11 per MMBTU. This is because of the shortage of the supply in Russia, and after that, from October, the price has been decreased. This is because there's some more supply came in the market, especially from Australia. And in the beginning of this year, 2019, there will be also more supply from US as well. So for petrochemical business, in the left bottom of the graph, we show you the key petrochemical price that represent the selling price of our business. Represented by the HDPE price and also polypropylene price, you will see that the price has been in the upward trend all the way in the first 9 months. And then in the first quarter, following the Dubai crude oil price that has been dropped, the petrochemical price has been softened down in the fourth quarter as well. Comparing year on year, you will see that the HDPE has been increased around 14%. For PP price has been increased for around 10%. This is show you that comparing year on year, our petrochemical price is still like better. And also for aromatic size, we show you the PX spread with the naphtha and the benzene spread with the naphtha. For PX spread, still in a good shape. You will see that the PX spread has been moving up, especially in the fourth quarter. This is because of the higher demand of the PTA and polyester in the downstream. and also that there's some recycle in China that the new policy that make the import more of the PX as well. And for the benzene spread, in contrast, for the benzene spread has been pressure for the whole year. You will see that the trend of the spread of benzene has been downward, and especially in the quarter 4. This is because of the oversupply, especially in China, and also some demand of the downstream styrene monomer that has been dropped. On the right hand side, we show you the average foreign exchange rate. This one, the average rate. You see that the foreign exchange rate has been volatile, but comparing year on year for the close rate, this year, the year 2018, the baht has been less appreciated than comparing to year 2017. So this result in the mark-to-market of the loan that we may have the foreign exchange rate gain that has been less than the year 2017. Now we move to the performance of the PTT consolidated. We're comparing year 2018 with the year 2017. The overall of the performance has been the operating results still strong, even though we have stock loss that mark the huge one in the quarter 4. But starting with the oil price, as I mentioned before, the oil price year on year has been improved a lot, around 30% from $53 per barrel in average in year 2017 to almost $70 per barrel in average in year 2018. This is also contribute to the revenue increase because the price of the products in almost segment from both petroleum and petrochemical price has been improving. The revenue also improving from the volume of the oil business as well because of the expanding of the stations and also more demands, and also trading business that import more crude for refineries that last year we have some major turnarounds of some refinery like IRPC. So in both of the volume and price has been improved that contribute to the increase of the revenue around 17%. That's the revenue portion on the right hand side. You see that the revenue portion, the nature of our business is the oil business and trading business that contribute the most for our revenue size. The second one is for petrochemical and refining business that contribute the second for around 30%. And when we come to see on the EBITDA side, you see that the contribution has been changed because the oil business and trading business has a big revenue, but they contribute the slimmer margins. You will see that will be the upstream business that contribute the most for our EBITDA as a consolidated. PTT EP contribute for around 36%, sorry. And the second one is petrochemical and refining for around 28%. And almost the same portion that contribute is from PTT gas business, around 27%. For EBITDA has been improved for around 2% from 345 billion baht to around 351 billion baht. This is mainly because the stock loss we have in quarter 4 from the sharp drop in oil price, even though our performance still in a good shape, especially from PTT EP, the upstream business that contribute more EBITDA because of the higher product price in both oil and gas price, and also higher volumes. And also the gas business also improved, especially from the gas separation plant. even though petrochemical and refining has been softened from oil and stock loss. When we come to the net income on the bottom chart, you will see that our net income closed at around 120 billion baht this year for year 2018, dropped from year 2017 at around 135 billion baht, which is dropped around 11%. This is mainly because of the three main factors from non-operating factors. One is the higher tax expense, especially from PTTEP that they have higher net income, so they pay more tax. That's the one reason. Another reason is from the tax gains from PTTOR transferring of asset. The oil PTT has transferred oil assets to PTTOR in the 1st of July, and we have booked the gain, and so we need to pay tax, which is net around 6 billion baht. And the third reason that the tax expense has been increased is from PTT itself, that we has been uses up the BOI privilege. So now we will pay tax higher for the corporate income tax. And also that contribute to the lower of the net income is from the higher depreciation and expense from many projects of PTT group that has been become COD. Also, we have gained more stake in PTTEP, that adding more stake from Bongkot field for around 22%. So we have more operating assets that need to have higher depreciation. And also, as I mentioned before, we have lower foreign exchange rate gains. This one is because we have less baht depreciation comparing to last year. So now this chart will show you the breakdown of each business contribution that contribute to the bottom line, our PTT group. As I already conclude that our operating performance still healthy, but we have booked the stock loss in Q4, which is pretty huge, and we have shown you in the yellow part. You will see that in the year 2017, in contrast, we have stock gain for around 7 billion baht. But in year 2018, we booked the stock loss mainly from refineries for around 8 billion baht. So back and forth, you will see that the chain of the stock gain loss is almost 20 billion baht. So when we exclude the stock gain loss and also some extra items, our operating net income has been pretty flat and still in a good shape. I just would like to clarify for the extra items that we show you in the gray part in the bottom of the year 2017 of the 9 billion baht. This is mainly include the impairment of the PTTEP business, that they booked the impairment for the project Marina Oil Sand. And also we have some gain from mutual fund called EPIP, and also the dividend received from EPIP that almost 5 billion baht. So that is the main contribution for the extra items. But this year we also have almost the same the extra items that has been minus for around 8 billion baht. This is mainly because of the tax that booked from the gain that we transfer the asset to PTOR, as I mentioned to you before, is around 6 billion baht. So when we see the breakdown of each business segment, you will see that PTT business itself, in this graph, it shows the lower of the net income for around 19%. This is mainly because in the second half, we transferring the asset of oil business to PTTOR. That's why the performance of the second half of oil business has been moved to the green part, which is the other affiliates. So PTT itself has been increase for the operating income from gas business, especially from gas separation plants. Gas separation plants has been contribute the higher net income from both increase in sales volume this year that has been improved of the less turnaround of the gas separation plant in this year, and also the customer of gas separation plants can receive more gas as well, like PTTGC. And also we have some debottleneck in the gas separation plants, that's why the sales volume of the gas separation plant has been improved. Also in the side of the sale price, our selling price of the gas separation plant linked to the petrochemical key driver like HDPE, PP. So I mentioned to you before in the part of the key business driver, petrochemical price like HDPE, PP has been improving comparing year on year. HDPE has been improved a lot, around 14%, and PP improved around 10%. That's why contribute to the higher margin of the gas separation plant, and also the selling and marketing part that we're selling gas to the industrial customer. So we have higher margin for this business. And also for the pipeline business, the TM, we have increased volume, so we have increased performance from selling to small power plants that has been increased. And also for trading business, we have both increase in the volume and margin. Volume is from the less refineries shut down comparing to last year, and also margin has been improved from the price of the domestic condensate that following the Dubai crude price increase. So the overall PTT performance has been increased, and PTT EP, the upstream performance as well, has been improved from both of the volume and almost from the price, and without the impairment of this year 2018 as well. Petrochemical and refining, in contrast, in year 2018 has been softened for around 9%. This is mainly of the stock loss following the fourth quarter that there's a sharp drop of the oil price, and also the weaker market GRM that from the higher crude premium that they need to pay, and also lower gasoline spread with the lower demand. Yeah. And also for aromatics and olefins, the performance has been softer. Aromatics performance decreased mainly from the benzene spread that has been weakened, and the olefin has been softened a little bit, especially from the fourth quarter that price has been dropped following the oil price. For other affiliates, I have mentioned some part that we moved the oil business performance as a separate company. So the second half they got the oil business performance. That's why this one has been increased a lot. And also from other company called PT LNG that we're doing the LNG regasification business. They receive higher revenue from the COD of the LNG Terminal 1 Phase 2 that now they receive the revenue at 8.4 million ton per annum, comparing to last year 2017 that they recognized the revenue at around 5 million ton per annum. That contribute to the higher revenue. So that's the overall of the PTT performance that this year, year 2018, we have the performance drop at 120 billion baht for approximate. Come to the balance sheet, you will see that our balance sheet has been increased from around like 2,232 billion baht to 2,355 billion baht, increase for around 6%. Mainly of the asset increases from the cash that we have more cash from operating cash flow, and also the increase in property, plant and equipment, that we have more construction work in progress from many projects from our affiliates like PTTGC, and also from PTT itself, the fifth pipeline. and PTTEP also acquire more stakes in Bongkot. You will see that this represents to the healthy gearing ratio on the right hand side. Our policy to have net debt to EBITDA to not over 2 times, but we only have ratio represent for around 0.3 times for the net debt to EBITDA. This is has a pretty low ratio. That this is because we have more cash and also we have increases in EBITDA as well. And for the net debt to equity, you see that we have policy to not over 1 time, but the ratio of PTT consolidated is just around 0.08, which is pretty low as well from the kind of like the more of the cash and also the increases in equity that from the net income that adding to the equity segment. And for the rating of PTT is still the same, so we still have the same credit rating with the sovereign level. And that would be most of the overall of the performance. And now let Kun Panporn kind of like conclude for the financial highlight of year 2018.
Okay. For the summary of all the business for PTT Group, I start with our midstream business, which is PTT. The gas and trading business has better performance, both from a better spread and both from petroleum and petrochemical spread. But in the oil business, we have a huge loss from the stock loss due to the sharp drop of the oil price by the end of the fourth quarter. So the PTT report, the net income is around 120 billion baht, decreasing around 11%, mainly from the higher tax, higher depreciation, and lower gain from foreign exchange. From PTTEP, they have the stronger volume and the higher selling price and with no impairment. So that's why PTTEP report about double net income at around $1.1 billion. For GPSC, which is our flagship in power plant, they report the increase of the net income around 60% from the full year benefit of the new power plant, mainly the RPC Clean Power with the capacity of 240 megawatts. But in the refinery and petrochemical business, though they have the higher sale volume in all flagship, but they record the stock loss from the sharp drop of the oil price, so it's caused the lower net income. Like the Thai Oil, they report the decrease on the net income from about 25 billion to 10 billion, and IRPC report the net income decrease around 32%. Okay, that's all for the performance of PTT Group. Let I move to our capital expenditure. It's on page number 10. Since during the next 5 years, PTT Group gonna have about 167 billion baht of the firm capex, which is around $5 billion. The capex are in the key 5 business. I start with the first one. It's in the light green, about 16% in the transmission pipeline, mainly in the 5th pipeline, which will be the pipeline from the east of Thailand to the west of Thailand. The capex is around 17 billion baht, and then they will start the operation around 2021. Currently, the construction is around 60%. Others projects in the pipeline business, such as the Ratchaburi pipeline and the extension of the first pipeline. So I move to the second part of the capex, which is around 77% in the natural business, which mainly the pipeline maintenance capex, or around 11 billion baht. The third part is in the dark green, is the investment in the PTT LNG, which operate the LNG terminal. The PTT LNG PTT holds 100% in PTT LNG, and the capex for the PTT LNG during the next 5 years is around like 35 billion baht, or around 21% of the total of the PTT capex. PTT LNG capex mainly will be in the second LNG terminal, which around the capacity is around 7.5 million tons per annum, and the project will be complete by 2022. In the brown color, which is others infrastructure capex, it was around 27 billion baht. It will be mainly in logistics. And the last part will be in the blue color, which is around 40%, or around 67 billion baht. There are the capex for the PTT wholly owned subsidiaries, mainly are the capex for PTT OR, which is the subsidiaries in the oil business. The main capex for PTT OR is for the oil station expansion, and now PTT OR is now in the process of the filing for the IPO. So next, let me move to the gas roadmap. On page number 11, you can see that after the PTT won the bidding in the Bongkot to increase their stakeholder. So in 2018, PTEP could increase their capacity to about 210 mmcfd. And in the 2022 and 23, after the Bongkot and Erawan come up, there will be more about 1,500 mmcfd from these two fields. In the pipeline project, you can see that this year the Nakhon Ratchasima pipeline gonna come up, so it will increase the capacity around 300 mmcfd. And in the 2022, the fifth pipeline and the Ratchaburi pipeline will increase the capacity for the pipeline around 660 mmcfd. The last part is about the liquefied natural gas or LNG project. Today, PTT has about 10 million tons per annum of the LNG terminal capacity, and in 2019, the capacity increased around 1.5 million tons per annum. So the capacity will increase to 11.5 this year, and in 2022, with the new terminal number 2, so we're gonna have about 19 million tons of LNG capacity. Next, on page number 12, let me update you about the Duni Thailand power development plan. This graph will tell you about the source of the fuel to produce the electricity. I would like to point out that in the red color, that is the natural gas for power plant. It has been increased from about 37% proportion from all the source of the fuel for power plant to 53%. So we think that this one will be benefit to the gas operator such as PTT. The new PDP has been approved by the National Policy Committee in January this year, and it will be proposed for public hearing next. So with the new power development plan that I mentioned, so the gas demand, PTT has been revised the gas demand forecast. You can see on the right hand side that the gas demand has been increased into 33 from today is around 4,700 mmcfd to 540 5,400 mmcfd. So it means that there will be more of the gas demand in Thailand. So let I move to about the outlook for petroleum first. It's on page number 16. This year in 2019, we think that Dubai price we're going to be around like $60 to $7 per barrel. The reason is that we think that OPEC will continue to cut the supply by about 1.2 million barrel per day, and with the politic risk in Venezuela or with the Iran sanctions, so we think that there will be the short supply in the market. So the Dubai price going to increase to around like $60 to $70 per barrel. Next is the more gas or the gasoline. With its the high global inventory, and we think that there will be softened demand. So we think that the spread for the gasoline will be around like $5 to $10 per barrel. For the gas oil or diesel, with the low global inventory after the winter, and there will be built the stock ahead from the IMO regulation, we will be start next year. So we think that the spread from the diesel should be around like $10 to $15 per barrel in the first half of this year, and will be increased by the second half of this year. Maybe it can touch like $20 per barrel some days. For the gross refinery margin, we think that the range of the GRM will be around like $4 to $6 per barrel in 2019. That's the outlook for 2019 this year. So let me give you some guideline for PTT Group this year. We start with the gas price. We think that in the first half of this year, the gas price will be gradually increased, since it's linked to like the last 6 to 12 months of the oil price. But in the second half, the gas price will be gradually decreased. And in 2019, our gas separation plant will be closed around 15 days. That's in the ethane plant part. And for the NGV operation, we try to close down the daughter station to lower our loss from the NGV. And as I mentioned that there will be the new LNG terminal, the additional about 1.5 million tons per annum. So the capacity of the first terminal will be around like 11.5 million tons per annum. For our major flagship this year, the PTT GC gonna have the turnaround in the refinery part by the second half, about 54 days, and its aromatic and olefin will have the turnaround in the first half, about 50 days. For Thai oil, by mid of this year, they're gonna have the turnaround by around 30 days in refinery and 45 days in aromatics. For ARPC, in the first quarter, they're gonna have to turn around to tie in its catalyst cooler around 28 days. So that's all the guidance for this year, 2019. So may I mention you something about the dividend? We have already announced the dividend for performance of this year, about it's the 2 baht per share, with the payout ratio is around 48%, and dividend yield is around 4.3%, and it will be get the approval from the shareholders on the 11th of April, and they will be paid in the 30th of April. that's all for the presentation. I think we'll be next for the Q&A session.
Yeah, so we have some questions from online. First question is to ask, do you plan to list PTTOR in stock exchange? And if yes, please update the timeline and progress.
As I mentioned that since the PTO are in the process of the filing to the SEC, so right now we could not give any update or any information about PTTOR to the public.
For
The second question is about, do you have any plan to raise fund? Since right now we have enough cash for our capital expenditure, so we think that this year we will not have any the fundraising for the capex.
And for the third question, I think Kun Panporn already mentioned about the dividend. They asked the dividend policy and the potential to increase the payout for this year.
Our dividend policy is not less than 25% of the net income. Our history of the payout ratio from the last 10 years is around 53%. So we think that that could be the answer for you.
Okay, so that's all of the question, but please feel free if you have more questions, you can post your questions or email us to ptt-ir@pttplc.com. Our PTT Investor Relation team are ready to answer. And thank you for joining our session today, and let's see you for the next quarter. Thank you.
Thank you very much.